The Advanced Linguistics Seminar at the Galactic Institute was in chaos. Professor Krextal, widely considered the greatest linguist in 7 galaxies, had just declared something impossible. No non-native speaker has ever mastered Zyrissian, the professor announced, his mandibles clicking with authority. The language requires 17 different vocal cords, telepathic harmonics, and the ability to speak backwards through time. It is physically, mentally, and temporally impossible for any species except the Zyrissians themselves. In the back row, a human exchange student raised her hand. Professor Krextal's 3 eyes rolled in synchronized annoyance. "Yes, Miss Williams. I'd like to respectfully disagree." The class erupted in laughter. The Zyrissians present, all 3 of them, vibrated with amusement, their natural time-shift abilities making them appear to laugh before the joke was even finished. "Human," senior student Vexandra said, her perfect Zyrissian accent making the air ripple. "Your species can barely manage galactic standard without translation devices. You still think in linear time. How could you possibly?" Emma Williams stood up, took a deep breath and spoke. What came out shouldn't have been possible. It wasn't just Zyrissian, it was perfect Zyrissian. Every tonal inflection, every temporal modifier, every psychic undertone. She spoke a greeting that technically wouldn't exist until next Tuesday, referenced a conversation from last year that was simultaneously happening now, and included a joke that required understanding events from 3 different time streams simultaneously. The room didn't just fall silent. It fell silent across multiple temporal dimensions. Vexandra's time-shifting froze mid-phase. She appeared as 3 different versions of herself, all stuck in the same expression of shock. "That's..." Professor Krextal's voice failed him. "That's not possible. Humans have 1 vocal cord. Linear consciousness. No telepathic capability." Emma smiled and continued in Zyrissian, but this time she spoke it backwards through time, so her explanation arrived before her demonstration. "The mistake everyone makes," she said, though the class heard it 5 seconds before her lips moved, "is assuming we need the same physical equipment to achieve the same results." She pulled out a small device, clearly homemade, held together with duct tape and determination. "Humans can't grow 17 vocal cords, so I built them. This throat modulator creates overtones using quantum resonance. We can't naturally perceive time non-linearly, so I programmed a neural interface that lets me think in past, present, and future simultaneously. It gives me a massive headache, but it works." The Zyrissian students were now openly gaping, an expression that looked particularly strange when done across multiple time streams. "But the telepathic components," one protested. Emma tapped her temple, where a barely visible chip blinked. "Electromagnetic field manipulation. Your telepathy is just biological radio waves at a specific frequency. Humans figured out radio waves centuries ago. I just had to find the right channel." She switched back to galactic standard, much to everyone's relief. Reality was getting wobbly from all the temporal linguistics. "Here's the thing about humans," Emma explained. "We're not the strongest, fastest, or smartest species, but we're probably the most stubborn. Tell us something's impossible, and we'll spend years figuring out how to do it anyway. Tell us only certain species can do something because of their biology, and we'll build machines to compensate." Professor Krextal was scanning her with every instrument he had. "This is unprecedented. You've essentially rebuilt yourself to speak a language your species shouldn't be able to comprehend." "Oh, it gets better," Emma grinned. "I've been teaching other humans. There are 12 of us now who can speak Zyrissian. We started a club. We meet on Thursdays, except when we meet on Wednesdays that happen after Thursday but before Monday." Vexandra finally consolidated herself into a single time stream. "You learned our sacred language, the one that takes us decades to master, as a hobby?" "Well, yeah," Emma shrugged. "The university's human dormitory has really bad Wi-Fi, so we needed something to do. Jake learned crystalline, the one that requires thinking in mathematical equations. Sarah's working on Void Whisper, though she hasn't figured out how to speak in negative space yet." The professor's equipment suddenly beeped. "Wait, you're not even using the device right now." You're speaking perfect galactic standard without technological assistance, but my sensors show residual temporal distortion in your vocal patterns. Emma's grin widened. That's the fun part. After using the device for 6 months, my brain started rewiring itself. Neuroplasticity is humanity's superpower. Our brains literally rebuild themselves to adapt to new situations. I don't need the tech anymore for basic Zyrissian. My brain learned to think in multiple time streams naturally. She added in perfect Zyrissian, speaking in past, present, and future simultaneously, though I still need the throat modulator for the really complex stuff. Professor Krextal stood abruptly. Class dismissed. I need to reevaluate everything I've ever believed about linguistic capability. As students filed out, Vexandra approached Emma. Would you teach me how you did this? I want to learn how to learn like a human. Emma smiled. Sure. Fair warning though, humans teach languages weird. We mostly use memes and pop culture references. Hope you're ready to understand why "hello there" is hilarious in 17 different contexts. The official report would state that a human had achieved adequate proficiency in Zyrissian. The unofficial report, circulated in hushed tones through academic circles, was that humanity had just broken the fundamental laws of linguistics out of boredom.